Welcome everyone to the next episode in our Night Springs series. If you are new, I recommend pausing and watching both the introduction and overlap videos which break down the nature of the TV show before proceeding further. With that out of the way, grab some popcorn and let's check out today's episode of Night Springs. Up until this point in our Night Springs deep dive, each of the episodes or topics has been relatively well known. Between episodes in the game, the This House of Dreams blog, and American Nightmare, the fanbase is familiar with them. However, this latest episode is something that is mostly unheard of. I myself was not aware of this one until after I sat down to write the scripts for this last string of videos. As random as it sounds, this episode has ties to Cynthia Weaver. More specifically, Cynthia's grandfather, Bartholomew Weaver. This episode also has no official title, but we will call it The Cursed Production. Back in 1910, Bartholomew began construction on a property in Bright Falls. This building would later go on to be known as the Mountain Manor. The construction costs essentially bankrupted him. Later in 1970, the manor was scheduled to be renovated and restored to its original glory. However, the project was cancelled due to the funding drying up. Since then, the ruins of the manor have been abandoned. During the events of Alan Wake, we visit this abandoned manor. Down in the basement, there are insane writings about the Taken and Thomas Zane. All of this was written by Cynthia at some point in time between 1970 and 2010. The year 1970 has a strong meaning for her. Zane vanished into the lake. She received her mission to become the town guardian until Alan arrived. And it is the year funding for her grandfather's manor dried up. It is possible that the funds were reallocated into her battle to defend Bright Falls, considering recent events necessitated it. But what does all this have to do with Night Springs? We get our answer in the most unlikely of places. In the official survival guide, there is a newspaper article about the manor published by the Bright Falls Record. That's right, the strategy guide has a lost episode of Night Springs in it. The journalist Leland Brennan does a piece on Mountain Manor. He explains how the abandoned structure was once used as a filming location for the Night Springs television show. You see, the empty manor that stood above Highway 91 had a bit of a reputation for being haunted. An old haunted estate that stands high over the freeway. A sight that the locals see anytime they drive by. Stories were invented by the locals about the ominous site. These urban legends traveled and inspired the showrunners of Night Springs. Details about what happened in this episode were never released. However, based upon something else that happened at the Mountain Manor, we can get an idea. The article goes on to explain that a film crew based out of Finland petitioned the Bright Falls Council of Elders to allow them to film an episode of their show at the manor. Despite objections from the current sheriff, Sarah Breaker, they granted the foreign TV company permission. This company was called YEL. As of yet, I don't know what this acronym means, but if anyone has any ideas, feel free to let me know. YEL was filming an episode of a popular paranormal reality show. I know I'm going to butcher this. The show was called Alvemainen Tutkemainen, also known as Ghostly Investigations. It is a typical ghost hunter type of show. Considering the ghost stories surrounding the manor as well as its history being a film location for Night Springs, it seemed like a good place to get some good PR for their own show. However, the production did not go well. Petro Joveletto was the spokesperson for YEL and explained how the film crew was plagued with difficulties. As an aside, Petro Joveletto is also the name of Remedy's co-founder. While working on Death Rally, they decided they needed someone to write the text. So, he reached out to his longtime friend, Sam Lake, to do the writing. Petri left Remedy after Alan Wake, but Sam remains to this day. The rest is history. Putting that aside, let's get back to the subject of this video, and the film crew fictional Petri was involved in. Considering this place was the focus of two different TV shows, it would not surprise me if the things that this film crew experienced were somehow related to the plot of the Night Springs episode that was filmed here. Almost as if the stories conjured up by the show remained stained on the land, becoming a real haunting experience. turning Bartholomew Weaver's Mountain Manor into a real haunted house. It was something that not only the film crew experienced, but also the locals, and very likely, Alan as well. Quote, "We had some, equipment lost over the side of the precipice, and problems with shadows during filming. A lot of electrical failures and such. It was a fraught time." End quote. This was only the start of the troubles. The co-host, Stig Bosvik, fell backwards from the second-story balcony and broke 2 ribs among other injuries. While this was the public explanation, Bosvik spoke with a translator and claimed a dark, cloudy force pushed him over the edge. It was claimed that the odd shadows were captured on camera. However, the Finnish film crew refused to make the footage public. Bosvik was released from the Gundersen Memorial Hospital and was expected to make a full recovery. The film crew immediately abandoned the project and went back to Finland. According to the article, this story was taken from a 2-year-old cutting of the Bright Falls record. Considering this was released alongside Alan's first visit, it can be surmised that the event occurred in 2008. As a second aside, the name of the co-host is also relevant. Stig Bosvik is the name of a potentially fictitious television music composer. Specifically, Stig is credited to have worked on a 2004 television series called Garth Marenghi's Dark Place, a show where a fictional author worked on a 1980s TV series that was never aired since it was deemed too crazy to show to the public. Decades later, the lost footage is finally being shown. It appears that an echo of this composer went on to work with YEL and this Ghost Hunter-like series, a show that also never got aired because of their cursed production. Let's get back to the reason you're all listening, a different TV show from a different dark place. With the events surrounding this film crew in mind, what was the Night Springs episode that was filmed here? Did it involve a ghost story, hauntings, dark shadows? If the episode involved a typical haunted house story, it seems those hauntings never left. Night Springs is a property that preys upon urban legends and can be used to influence the minds of the audience. According to the FBC, who purchased the rights to the show after it was cancelled, they wished to experiment with these effects and use the show as the basis for these tests. While this episode was likely filmed long before the Bureau began making new episodes, who knows what effect filming the show on the Mountain Manor had? It is possible that if the place was not haunted before, it is now. Night Springs episodes are based upon a real-world geographic location. Some form of overlap likely occurs alongside it. The question is, does this process leave lingering effects? If the show films in a specific location, does the land bear any scars of the TV show's presence? Would the troubles of the Finnish film company experienced have happened if Night Springs did not film there? These questions will likely never be answered, but there is enough evidence with this example to say that it is very likely. I wonder how many other locations are permanently affected as a result of either the show itself or the film production that went into making it. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please drop a like and subscribe to receive updates on future uploads. If you would like to help support the channel, a Patreon has been set up and the link is in the description below. Have a great day and peace be with you all.
Versions of this town.